came across this video by Jay Williams, and he talks about his experience in prison while he was incarcerated. He's been incarcerated in many different jails, so he talks about a lot of stories. So I got kind of hooked on it because it was interesting stories. But the only downside to it is he drops some F-bombs here and there if you're not that kind of type to listen to F-bombs. So he came across this one story. He told a story about this one guy, his brother got arrested for selling drugs. So he goes home because him and his brother live together. He cleans his brother's room, and then he finds his brother's drugs. So he hid it, he put it in a sock, and he put it in his closet. And then he had a phone call. And the phone call tells him, hey, your brother told us that he didn't sell all the drugs, that he had drugs left in his room, and that drugs belongs to us. So his brother tells him, I don't know what you're talking about. He hangs up the phone. Time and time again, they call back and say, hey, we know you got your brother's stuff. We know you got your brother's drugs. That belongs to us. Give it back to us, and we won't hurt you. And the brother goes, I don't know what drugs you're talking about. Hangs up the phone. Over and over, that goes on for a while. And it's getting worse and worse. Of course, the tragedy escalated. So one day they called and they told him, you know, we're on our way right now to your house. You better have the drugs or we're going to kill you and your family. So the brother hangs up the phone, he grabs his shotgun, he goes outside his house and he waits. Mind you, he has a wife and children. I don't know how much children he has. But he waits outside. A car pulls up. He goes out to the car and shoots him. Boom, boom, pa, 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 pa. Okay, then he calls the cops, calls 911, says his car came to my home, threatened to kill me and my family, so I shot them. Please come over to this address. Cops come over, they investigate, they found 4 people in the car. 2 males in the front seat, 2 females in the back seat. Dead. They found no weapon, no knives, no guns. So the investigators say, how did it all started? So he finally told him, oh, well, the guys came here for the drugs. So he gave them the drugs. Long story short, he got arrested and was booked for 4 counts of first-degree murder, possession of heroin, and intent to sell narcotics. And I forget what was the other charges. So he's in prison right now. He's locked up in prison. And right now, as we speak, he's calling the mayor, the prosecutor's office. He's calling whoever he can and trying to explain to them that what he did was justifiable, that he was mainly protecting his home. And Jay Williams, who told this story, he said this is what he would do. First off, Virginia law states that if a person comes to your house and is armed, you still cannot kill them. You cannot shoot them unless they're a threat to you. I know it's kind of weird law. I don't understand the full extent of it. It sounds weird. But anyway, but Jay said that he would wait outside in the dark, wait till they pull up, and wait till they come out of the car and see if they have weapons or guns. Then he would shoot them. I shake my head on that. Okay, let me tell you a story. This story is going to tie into everything of this subject. Yeah, I'm a CDL driver, commercial driver's license. As a CDL driver, we have to go through this class. It's federal law, mandatory. we have to go to every year we have to go to an 8-hour class, which is called a DIP class, which is called Driver Improvement Program. We have to. If we fail to show up, the federal would charge our company or each company $500 fine for each person. Okay? So we heard of stories of how truck drivers would get into accidents, and 90% of the time, truck drivers are held liable. So when they do an investigation of each truck driving incident, they'll make a thorough investigation. Because you have a company logo on your truck, people will see dollar signs, so they want to sue. So they will find a way. Lawyers will find a way to get money from you, from the trucking company. So the first thing they would do, right? First thing they would do, as the lawyers would do, they will find out what is called, or first basis, what they would do is that accident was unavoidable, or was that accident avoidable? That's what they're going to look for. Was that accident avoidable? That's the basis that they're going to look for. They're going to look for every aspect. Like one situation, a truck moving company, what they do, they go to homes and they pack their home things, their supplies, the furnitures. So they're a moving company. Okay, so had this one moving company was at this home. They were working. They were on a job site working. They were at a home and loading these houses, furnitures, to help them move, to get them moving. So they were parked. Okay, they were parked. A car hit that truck. Okay, another car hit the parked truck. They went to court. Remember now, was that accident avoidable? So the first thing investigators are going to do is they're going to grab the driver of that truck, and they're going to examine everything. They're going to examine everything. They're going to make sure that he was fit to drive first. Of course, they're going to drug test him. Then, in most cases, they will drug test him. Then, they'll check their credentials. Make sure that they have the proper driver's license requirement. And make sure everything is up to date. Of course, you have to have your CDL, Class A or Class B, depending on the size of your truck. And number two, you're going to have to what is called your PUC or DOT clearance. That is your doctor's clearance. You have to have that. It's a medical card. Every 2 years, you have to go to see a doctor. It's not just any doctor. You have to go to a DOT-approved, Department of Transportation approved doctor that will examine you to see if you are physically fit to operate a motor vehicle, a big motor vehicle. So when they clear you, they give you this clearance card. It lasts for 2 years. Every 2 years, you have to renew it. Once it expires, they give you a 30-day grace period to renew it. If you pass that 30-day grace period, your driver's license automatically downgrades to a Class 3. That you lose that CDL, Class A or Class B status. That's how the law is. So the investigators pulled everything, pulled the record on the driver, everything. Now remember, we have to go through those classes, right? They went check. The investigators check if that driver went to the driver improvement program that year and found out that that driver did not attend the class. Therefore, he was unfit to drive that truck. So the company was found guilty, and they had to pay for a car ramming into their truck, a parked truck. Was it avoidable? Yes, because that driver wasn't supposed to drive the truck in the first place. Okay, now go back to the story. What you gotta look is, was there murder? 4 people died. Was it avoidable? Yes. What was the whole bottom line about? What was this whole charade all about? Drugs. They came for the drugs. Is it avoidable? Yes. And the cops told him. They told him, all you have to do when you found the drugs was turn it in. But he didn't. They gave him that option. They told him, you have that option. We all have free will choices to avoid further conflict. But he didn't turn in the drugs or did away with the drugs. He kept it. So he's claiming that he's defending his family. He is defending his family for what? Drugs that he had hidden in the home. So he brought trouble to the house because of the drugs. He has a wife and children. He put them in danger to what? Protect the what? The drugs. Was he protecting them? How are you going to protect them while having drugs in your house that doesn't belong to you? How is that protecting them? That's not protecting your family. You're putting them in danger. What I would have done, I would have first, when they call me and said, hey, you have my drugs. Your brother said you have my drugs. I'll say, you know what? Let me talk to my brother first. And I'll see if what you say is true. And if I talk to my brother somehow, talk to him in prison, whatever, and my brother verify, yeah, that's his drugs. Then I'll tell him, okay, I'll call him. Then I'll say, you know what? Okay, these are drugs. This is what we're going to do. We'll meet someplace. In fact, I'll just drop it off at a certain place. You know, like those spy kind of guys, throw them in a trash can, I'll put them in a McDonald's cup, and I'll put it in this trash can at this certain location. It's going to be in a McDonald's cup. I'm going to drop it in at 1:45 p.m., whatever, set up a time so that, bombs don't, homeless people don't go to the trash and looking for, food to eat and end up picking up the drugs. So I'll tell them, okay, 1:45, I'm dropping it off at this trash can, at this place, at this time. Once you get your drugs, you leave me alone. You have nothing to do with me. You don't call me. You delete my phone, everything. You stay out of my life. That's how you protect your family. You protect your family by getting rid of something that does not belong to you and can also destroy your own life too. Drugs, even without threatening. Even though that guy wasn't threatening, hey, that's my drug, it's going to kill you. It's going to kill you eventually. I've seen people's lives ruined because of drugs. I've seen it. I experienced that personally. My brother went to prison because of drugs too. He had to serve time. He was a high-rolling dealer. So I experienced it firsthand. And that was his own. He was selling big time. He was a big mover. He used to sell to cops too. Yeah. Cops were buying his drugs. They would call him and say, hey, I need this amount of drugs. At first, my brother didn't believe. He said, whoa. I said, don't worry, bro. Don't worry. We want this amount of drugs. Meet us here. And my brother would go, and he would sell them undercover officers drugs, and they would do them. So there was corrupt there were corrupt cops here on Maui. But the whole bottom line is, was it avoidable? Yes. The drugs. The drug is the one brought the heat, brought the trouble, and the 4 lives was lost. Remember now, those 4 lives were lost. They found no weapon in that car. Those people who died, they did not have not a knife, not a gun. They didn't go there. I don't think how. If they went there to kill the family, how? With their bare hands, the kung fu? No, they had no knives, guns, no nothing. They were unarmed. Is it avoidable? Yes. Thank you for watching.